So the big thing you need to know is that, like, the government made it where, hey, you grow corn for us, you know, you can have a cabin, you can be here, you can do your thing, but you got to have it growing by this time. That was it. So what do you expect they were going to do? They had to grow corn, they had to grow rye, they're going to make whiskey. This is what they were doing when they were in Scotland and in Germany beforehand.
The first vodka that came to the United States was in 1934. The federal definition of vodka is flavorless, odorless, and colorless, and without character, and yet we have over 1,000 flavors. And it's like, if you combine all the brown spirits together, it's something like 55 million cases a year, and vodka alone does 66 million cases. That's like 158 million gallons of flavor of vodka.
Pays the bills.
It does, right? A lot of people are now wanting to rediscover the classic cocktails, the pre-prohibition cocktails. We're a nation that has now embraced alcohol and responsibly, and we are here today at the archives to show two classic cocktails that Fabian Malone put together, which is the Sazarac and the Old Fashioned. The resurgence of these drinks came back thanks to the bartenders and the mixologists, I think in the 90s and the early 2000s, and that brought back into fashion the brown spirits, which suffered a depression in the 80s.
Well, tonight we did a workshop with, we did a non-alcoholic workshop on cocktails. We did two classic American cocktails, the Sazerac and the Old Fashioned. When you talk about spirits in American history, I don't think you can really get around not talking about those two particular cocktails. We're using English breakfast as bourbon, and we're using Earl Grey tea as a rye whiskey. I chose Earl Grey because Earl Grey has a more citrus pronounced forward note, somewhat like how rye whiskey does. And I chose English breakfast because English breakfast has a more rounded flavor like how bourbon does. And they would kind of play their roles very well when you're making these cocktails. Please stir, because you would have sugar. People probably weren't paying attention to do simple syrup. Bars today are probably using simple syrup to make this cocktail. And you would stir. A couple of different points of contentions with this cocktail. Some people don't muddle the citrus. Some people just like expel the citrus by hand. Some people don't even drop the citrus garnish in the glass. Some people just like squeeze the citrus, rub it around the rim, and then throw away the citrus, and you get your Sazerac without the garnish. The Sazerac was originally made with cognac, but today it's made with rye whiskey. The Old Fashioned is either typically bourbon or rye, whatever they want to have with it. You know, it doesn't really matter. It's whatever someone wants to enjoy.
So we have this love-hate relationship with alcohol, and I'd like to hope that currently it's mostly love. It's a great thing for Americans to come back and try these old drinks, and it's the job of these bartenders and mixologists to go back and resurrect these classic cocktails, but they're cocktails that are filled with sort of character and color and flavor, and that's a great thing.
There is a science to it. I mean, and at the same time, there is not a science to it. Some of the best cocktails I've ever created were by accident. I try not to make it look like I have some degree or something like that. Like, try not to overthink it. We're just making drinks here and trying to make sure everyone has a great time.